Hickok 45 here, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Yes, Middle Tennessee, the home of Alvin York and all sorts of cool folks. Lots of squirrels too. Lots of 45-70 rounds, I'm sure. Yes, glad you came to join us here in Tennessee. It is Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm very thankful. I am shooting a 45-70 right now. And I'm very thankful there's a gong out there to stop the bullet. And if not, there's a lot of wood and dirt behind him, right? To stop my misses. Let's see, actually, I could stop my misses by just shooting better. Yeah. And not have any misses to stop. Or misters. Oh, hit that old coffin. Oh man, uh-oh, that just about went down my shirt. Let's pop a bowling pin. Oh. 45-70 knocks it around, doesn't it? Yeah, glad you're here. Got the old 1886. Relatively old, not too old. Not as old as my other one. This is the Browning. Yes, was in the mood to bring it out and work it out a little bit. So glad you came along. Also, as you might have seen, the old Revelation 22. This is called the Model 99. It's actually made by High Standard and for Western Auto. Some of you folks that have a little gray in your hair, remember Western Auto. Auto supplies, I think they had some hardware, and they always had firearms. Pretty nice firearms in there. Actually, it wasn't a gun store, but they had, under the name Revelation, I guess. I think Mossberg made some guns for them, High Standard, and who knows who else. So, Dad's old 22, not long rifle necessarily, just 22. You can put about anything in a revolver, any length 22 cartridge. Rephrase that. Okay, so I'm going to shoot that a little bit. I was in the mood to get that out on this Thanksgiving weekend. I'm also thankful I have that firearm, because that goes back to when I was 10 years old. Now, it's been a couple of years ago. So what are y'all doing? Did you eat a lot of turkey? Glad you came out. Hope the lighting is not too bad, but sometimes the sun does not cooperate with me. So anyway, yeah, you don't want to see anything too well. You don't want to see me too clearly. As long as you can see the firearm fairly clearly, because the firearms are the stars, right? They're what we're here for. That's why we do this, because we enjoy firearms and the bullets that they sling, right? So hope you did have a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving. Hopefully if you're a citizen of the United States, you do. I mean, anymore, who knows what anybody celebrates and what anybody just hates, right? It's kind of fashionable to hate. It really is. It's a very trendy, fashionable thing to hate. There really is a lot of it. Like, yeah, I don't have a lot else to do. I don't have a lot else going on in my life. What's out there I could hate? What's out there that I could take the contrarian opinion on and appear, feel, seem smarter than all those other people? They're all sheep. I see the truth. I see it the real way it is, and I need to let them know all over the internet. And I need to let people realize and know, inform them that Elvis really couldn't sing. The Beatles were not very good. The Rolling Stones are pathetic. Frank Sinatra had no voice. Elvis had no voice. You know, they just don't see it, these idiots. I need to inform them. And then, of course, it drops down the ladder. Hickok's an idiot. He can't do anything right. He's dumb. And who else? I won't list all the other YouTubers that probably some people think are dumb. In other words, the ones who are doing something useful for you, you know. So, yeah, it's just the way it is. A lot of people are born to hate. Or maybe they have grown into it in recent years, you know. Again, you know, my diatribes on social media, I think with that stage that's been presented to everybody, and a lot of people with not much going on in their lives, they can't do anything else. You can at least become a hater, can't you? At least you can do that well. How'd they get off on that? I didn't mean to talk about that. No, I'm glad you're all here. And I'm going to shoot these firearms, talk about it a little bit. And again, I do hope you had a nice Turkey Day if you celebrate Turkey Day, or if you don't celebrate, at least you observe the traditions and enjoy some turkey and dressing, and family. Hope you got together with your family and saw your friends. We did, and had my grandson out. And in fact, the possum you saw there, almost forgot. Yeah, really. There have been people commenting, what's the possum about? I was like, I forgot to even mention it. So I had a little fun with that. My grandson is 4, so he's just the perfect age to have more fun with now. And we go hiking, a lot around the place when he's out. And of course, I knew we'd be hiking because he likes to hike, get out, walk around the trails in the woods. And imagine that. And I saw that. Actually, it was at Academy Sports. I was in there for some reason. What was I looking for? Oh, yeah, I was thinking about something else that only they would have. And they didn't have it. But anyway, I saw that. I'm not even sure what it is. It actually is squeaky. I don't know. It's not a decoy, is it? It's not something hunters use. But it's a rubber possum. And that's about half of it, what you see. So my brain's always working. Not well, but it's always working. I thought, that has potential. Grandson's coming out, just like the skeleton I told you about. So sure enough, the day or two before he came out, I put it over in the woods in a tree, down where he would see it, but up about 6 feet, some cedar tree and the limbs and everything, where he couldn't miss it on our hike. And sure enough, I had him there perched on some limbs. And he and I spotted it sort of about the same time. I made sure we were standing where he would spot it. And he looked at that thing, and he's used to my jokes now, but still, we're out there in the woods, must be an animal. He's used to seeing animals around here, deer and things. And so he stopped and he looked at it and he said, "Animal." I don't know that he knew what it was. Animal. He was staring at it. I said, "Yeah, oh, wait, let's see what that is." I walked over, and studied it, and then I reached out and petted it, squeezed his head, Anyway, that was a joke I got him on this time. So that's what that's there. I thought I'll bring it over here and hang it up so y'all can see it. And I should have used it on you all too. I should have been amazed that possum climbed up on the target and is hanging there, and just totally perplexed about that, because we do have some gullible people in the audience. Sure do. And that's the thing. If you do YouTube videos, by the way, you do videos, you do anything that's out there, Facebook postings, I guess anything, you have to live with whatever you do, right? If you're going to leave it up there. It is funny. This thing is kind of a new world, really, isn't it? Still, even though we've been doing this 13 years, as I skim through the channel and comment, I'll occasionally see some comment from some video we did 10 years ago. I said something stupid in that video, or something I really didn't mean to say. Maybe I shouldn't have said it. Nothing extreme or anything, but whenever somebody sees it, that's the first time they've seen that video. They load up a video, they're looking for information on a Winchester 94 or whatever it might be, and then they see it, and there it is. There I am being stupid again for the first time for them 10 years later, 13 years later. It's just, you got to live with it. Think about what you say in videos, okay? And of course, I say a lot in a lot of videos, over 2,000. So I've had a lot of chances to demonstrate my idiocy here and there. Not too often, but here and there. But if it's just 5 times, it never dies. So it's funny. Just keep that in mind. And part of that's because we don't edit. So we just go ahead and post. And if you're doing little segments and trying to get this 15-second segment just right, or this 30, you can ask redo it. I didn't mean to say that, right? I shouldn't have said that probably. That might be misinterpreted, or I gave the wrong year, or I called this Colt single action a double action, whatever it is. You can easily correct it and redo that and move on. We can't really do that. We're going to stop and redo a 20-minute video that's 99.9 just ad lib, so it wouldn't be the same. But anyway, there again, how to get off on that. So can I shoot something else here? Can I shoot Dad's old 22? This was Dad's old Revelation. If you've seen the videos on this, My mother bought this for him Christmas 1960. Okay, 1960. And this was the gun, 22, that I prowled around the farm with when I was 10, 11, 12. I don't know that the first year he got it I could do that. I was probably 11 or 12 before I got the freedom to do that. I did it with my rifle, my Revelation, which I let get away, should be kicked hard for. It was a Model 60 basically, and but it was sold at Western Auto as a Revelation. And but I walked around with this thing when I was 12, I think 11. Walked around the farm, pocket full of bullets, not full, because even a nickel a box, when you're that age, you don't have a lot of money. And the world is backing up this early in the morning, way over there somewhere. But so yeah, I'd walk around the place. We had 50 acres out in Grant County, Kentucky, and lived on it. And this gun, 1961, 62, here I am carrying it around, blasting with it. Yeah, hard to believe, isn't it? Still shoots. Let's shoot this target. Let's shoot that possum. No, I don't want to shoot that possum. Somebody's going to be looking for that possum next time he comes to visit. How about a 2-liter though? I can shoot that. Ooh. How about a plate? Let's put one on the gong for Dad. Okay, this was his firearm. Oh, missed it. Well, I heard him hitting that wall, I think. Okay, it must shoot higher than I remember. Okay, over this ammo, I don't know. I've got to hit the gong now. And that's part of our job. I hear from a lot of you from time to time about how you have your grandfather's, your dad's handgun. I mean, daily. And, it's always a kind of a sentimental firearm, obviously, because a firearm is kind of a personal thing. It's like having somebody's wallet or their car that they drove, but in a way. And only firearms people, enthusiasts, understand that. If you're a gun hater, you're not watching this probably, unless you're just looking for material to hate on. But if you're a firearms enthusiast, you get it. It's like having your dad's fishing reel or something, old fishing rod, or your grandpa's fishing rod, sort of thing. All right, I must have been going just a tad high, but I promise I'm not high. I've not been smoking or drinking anything. I think that hit it, actually. Yeah, that hit, didn't it? Did y'all hear it? I need to take one of my ears out. Yeah, that hit it. Okay. Yeah, I was holding a little bit too high. I was holding right. I'm surprised at that distance. 22 is going high. But that's okay. I'm surprised by a lot of things in life. Maybe part of it, since I repainted the front side, I gave it a new coat of white paint there. Maybe I'm seeing the sight for the first time in a while, and I can actually use the sight. I don't know. That was not a bad little gun. It's never been a bad little gun. It's not a Smith & Wesson. It's not a Colt. You don't get that feel, that heft and everything. If you compare this with my 617 Smith & Wesson, which is a very nice 22 revolver, isn't it? It comes up short, of course, in that comparison, in feel and just everything. But it's really not that bad. It's not like an extremely cheap feeling or anything like that. It's got a little heft to it and shoots well, always has. I don't know we ever had mechanical problems with it, ever. It just works. And the cool thing about it, at the time too, where it holds 9 rounds anytime. That's pretty cool, because you think about most semi-automatic 22 pistols, what do they hold? 10 rounds, 9 or 10 rounds in the magazine. So you kind of get the same thing. If you like revolvers, you're not limited on capacity. just fun to shoot. We just had a blast with this thing for a lot of years. Oh, you know, I was just noticing too, it has a pin barrel. You know, just like the old days of the Smith and Wesson, a pin barrel. So, hey, maybe recessed cylinders. Yeah, it even has, it's pinned and recessed. So maybe this thing may be better than I thought. No, they are nice guns. They have a pretty good reputation. Well, High Standard. High Standard has, are you ready? You know what I'm going to say. They have apparently high standards. A lot of really high quality competition pistols in 22 are high standards, right? The Citation, you know, I don't know that I've ever owned one of them. Maybe I did one briefly, but there are people who are collectors of those things. You know, the High Standard semi-automatic pistols, they're just and there's a lot of different models of them, you know, different years, and I see them at the big gun shows like Tulsa and all that, you know, back when they used to have gun shows like that before the world fell apart. But yeah, so anyway, High Standard has a really good reputation, generally speaking. I've had shotguns made by them and everything. Okay, so anyway, it's always neat to bring out Dad's old gun, because all of us shot it, everybody in the family quite a bit, and me probably more than anybody. Is that hard to believe? And I've had it for a long time. Even before he died, I gave it to me. But just been around a long time. Good old 22. So I like to bring it out every now and then, and just a cool gun. So I got that one going all the way back to 1960, and this one is a newer gun, of course. It's a Browning, and if you've been around a while, you've seen this. If not, look up the videos. Browning 1886 Winchester. It's kind of tough to know what to call it. I may have changed the name of those videos over a time or two. It's really a Browning, I guess 1886. Yeah, but I would not be beyond calling it a Browning 1886 Winchester. It's like calling it a Ford 150 Chevrolet or something, you know. It's kind of weird, but it is a remake of the Winchester 1886. But this is Browning made this one. They did a run of them in 1986, a 100-year anniversary. Yeah, right. And so for the 100th anniversary, they made, I don't know, a few thousand of them, a couple of different grades, and appropriately, because guess who designed the 1886 Winchester? John Browning. And so his company, basically, or namesake company, you know, does the remake. So, you know, call it what you want, but it is a Browning. So, oh, cool. Wow, those are old. Some of you can tell from the sound, maybe. Those look like what P-58, old World War II airplanes. A couple of them. Neat. They might be spying on me though. Maybe they're not neat. So I love this thing. I brought it out partly because I just miss it. I have some really nice antique firearms, as you know. Again, more to be thankful for, right? And I didn't want to necessarily shoot. I got in finally some of this, well, finally, I saw they had it and ordered it, but Hammer Down 4570, which is a little more potent. I didn't want to shoot it in my old, hopefully it'll chamber okay. It's a nickel case. Sometimes with nickel cases, we have weird reactions. So anyway, thought I'd try some of this Hammer Down. Okay, and it would not be good to fire in a probably an original 1886 anyway. Fire a couple, see if I can tell any difference and where it hits. Let's try one in the ultimate test. And we'll try one on a 2-liter. How's that? If it'll go through a 2-liter. It did. Let's try that other 2-liter. Man, nice. One more. Let's put it on the gong. Maybe it'll go through the gong. That'd be bad, wouldn't it? Hits it pretty hard. So anyway, I thought I'd try some of that. That was funny, wasn't it? In some ways, it's not funny. But I don't know what else. And of course, Battlestall, we really appreciate their help. I use that every day. Most okay. And Talon Grips, I grip probably every day, something with Talon grips on it. I really do. So we appreciate it. We're, again, thankful for the people that help us. Thankful for you all who watch, okay, our shenanigans. And it's a big world, isn't it, of entertainment and YouTube, and everybody's doing videos on everything under the sun. And y'all are still very loyal. We really appreciate you coming back. And you know, and again, I've said this before, that I really am not just blowing smoke up your dress. That would be kind of obscene, wouldn't it? Sounds like it, but that would be inappropriate. No, really, I mean, legitimately, what I'm getting at, that as many people watch our videos as y'all come back and watch, because again, there's nothing slick. You just get this idiot talking and shooting. And then also in the world of YouTube videos, what I was going to get into is that, or mention, I get around and see videos, and almost everybody has some crazy thumbnail now. And some crazy face and some really sexy picture of something, gun. I mean, and we try to do that too, show you what the video's about. But I mean, it's just crazy artwork and to pull you in, and we don't really do that, So again, I'll say nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. It works, or people wouldn't do it, right? Just like all of media. But I'm just again thankful that you all don't seem to need that with us, okay? Or it doesn't make any difference. So I'm sure we lose views because of that, but we appreciate it, really do. You're tuning in regardless, okay? It's a pair. They're going over that way now. Interesting. If I knew more about airplanes. I used to work with a guy, he was my manager when I was in publishing, that really was an airplane nut. He knew all about aviation nut, like I am with Firearms, and he wouldn't even have to look up. He could have told you and me what those were, and whether or not they were about to drop bombs on us or strafe us, what they were about to do. So it might just be viewers, and they are trying to check out the video, see what I'm shooting, see what I'm talking about, wondering if maybe I would say something worthwhile for a change. Can I shoot something else in this thing? Let me shoot the hammer down or the standard ammo. I don't know. I guess I don't have any thing I need. We'll save some of that hammer down for a 4570 video. Maybe when I have a big exploding target of some kind, and we want to make sure it explodes like a big water jug. We want to make sure it doesn't just bounce off of it. Like a 4570 is going to do that. So pretty cool. By the way, those are 300 grain rounds, and so are these, really. So the ones I hand load, I typically load a 405 grain. Okay. I also have loaded a lot of 500 grain bullets, most of them behind black powder. No, in front of black powder, right? The black powder's behind the bullet. And I shoot those in mainly, well, they won't cycle in a lever gun. I don't think I have a lever gun that they'll cycle in at all. They're just too long. But I shoot those in single shots. And that's the beauty of a single shot, like a Sharps or something. Remington rolling block. Oh my gosh, the bullet. Well, there's a limit, depending on the diameter of the bullet and everything, how long the chamber is, maybe. But if that bullet were contoured, I mean, really, you could have a bullet that long, that's just the bullet. And the case, would be that long. You'd have a bullet almost that long on top of it, as long as this will go into the rifling, but not the ideal situation. But with a single shot, it's not as big an issue. Okay. All right, let's take a couple shots with this thing. All right, I'm gonna go over there on the hill and pop maybe a red plate. Went low. I knew it. I knew when I pulled the trigger, I was low. All right, let's hit that propane tank. I think we hit it, knocked him over. I mean, it goes right through it, so it doesn't always knock it over. You could shoot that, for example, with a 30-06, and it probably would not knock it over. For those of you who do not understand physics as well as I do, again, MIT professor for 30 years, right? That was a joke, but and that's why some targets don't move. In some videos we have, I've shot wow, I think even a soft drink can that was empty. You know, those things don't weigh anything, weigh about like a couple of potato chips, but you can set one up if it's empty and shoot it with a 5.56. If you're far enough away that the blast doesn't affect it, you know, you're out there, whatever, 20 yards or something, 30, the bullet goes through it so quickly, it does not knock it off sometimes. You know, it just goes like shooting a piece of paper with a bullet. And again, as long as you're back far enough from the blast, like you've seen me shoot this thing and knock it over this target paper stand here, that's just a blast. That's not the bullet, right? Duh. So, you know, no charge for that. Okay, what else? I want to shoot this 22 some more. What else was I going to talk about? Anything important? Well, let me remind you of the Strain 100 movie, of course. You know, check it out if you haven't. You know, it's I'll put a link in this. I've got a link in every description at the bottom. Okay, any video, just go to the description. There's a link to one to the main page for that movie, and then also to the Amazon Prime place to get it and look at it. So anyway, just don't forget, if you haven't seen it yet, you haven't lived. You haven't lived. You don't want to. You want to live. You don't want to be a zombie, right? So if you're new, it's a zombie movie that John and I had a small part in. Okay, and it's out there, available to stream. And if you're at home a lot, maybe it's a good time to to watch it. So appreciate y'all doing that. And we had fun doing it, kind of a new experience. And what else was I going to talk about? I don't know. Anything useful? Let's shoot this thing. All right. Let's go double action. How about that? All right. A combat revolver. A little combat. Maybe we'll do a comparison between that and the Smith & Wesson, the 617. Yeah, man. I actually have an idea for that. Maybe. So, pretty cool. I've been tempted. I see it because I grew up with this thing. And the first handgun I guess I ever shot. And all that. And shot a fair amount. And when I see one, the high standard models, I forget what it is. I know it. I probably said it in the last video of this. Cause I've researched that. It's like a, I don't know, high standard 106 or 19A. I forget what it is now, but it's a specific model, of course, high standard makes, and they sold it as a high standard also. I mean, gun shops and around. It's the exact same gun, and this one just is called the Revelation model, 99, model 99, but the high standard is some other number. And I've been tempted. I've seen them new in a box and everything, you know, at gun shows, and I don't know, maybe $400 or $500, and or less, I don't know. But I'm always tempted on it. Oh man, there's Dad's gun. That's the same gun. It's just pristine condition, you know. And I think, well, do I really need that? Well, why would I buy that though? It's one of my favorite guns of all time in some way, but it's only because of this one. You know, this is the one that's the special. That one would just be, you know, a high standard like this one. So I don't know. I always pass on them. I may, in a moment of weakness, not pass sometime. They usually seem like they have a shorter barrel too. And even on this one, Mom bought Dad this gun in a 4-inch barrel, and then he got it. And he wasn't a handgun shooter much, you know. Since the military, he shot in the military, of course. He carried 1911, but he didn't want a 4-inch barrel on a handgun, like a lot of people for plinking back then, especially. He was like me, you know, like a 3 or 4-inch barrel, but and he went back and traded for this like the next day or something, you know, did the barrel length he wanted, and so that was it. That was a Christmas present. Cool gun, fun to shoot. Oh man, and you know, barrel length gets down into, you know, people's skill level too. If you shoot a lot, then a shorter barrel is not as much a hindrance. It really isn't to your shooting. Now, for anybody, you get a better sight picture with a longer sight radius. There's no doubt about that. But for like moderate distances and typical shooting with a handgun and just enjoying plinking and everything, the person who doesn't shoot a handgun very much is going to do better with a long barrel. And again, even the person who shoots a lot is going to do probably a little better, but shoot a little more precisely. But limitations like that and differences between handguns and rifles or any kind of firearm, the differences are magnified by a person's experience, okay? That's a good way to say it. So if you're not very experienced with firearms, then the difference in the barrel length it's going to help you, but you may not be able to shoot either one very well, okay? And you may not be able to tell a lot of difference, you know, if you're just really just getting started. But if you're very proficient, then you can make do with it, and you can do well with something that another person might not be able to do well with, if that makes any sense. And also, along that same line, seeing the difference and appreciating the differences. And I've talked about this before, you know, the old analogy of race cars. You could put me in two different NASCAR, you know, souped up $1 million cars, and I wouldn't be able to tell any difference between two, even if one of them was considered a low grade, you know, someone who's just been in NASCAR for a year. They don't have the money yet or something to build the ultimate car, and they come in the middle of the pack or near the end. There's not a lot of difference between their car and the winning car, to me or anybody else, but people who do that can really tell the difference. You know, they race every day, they drive every day. One of those types of cars, I don't be caught dead in that guy's car. I mean, he didn't even have the flux capacitor adjusted right because he can't afford to buy the gold ring or gas, you know, whatever it might be, okay? They can tell the difference. You or I, no. We could drive both of them all day long, and I don't see any difference, you know. But those guys take a curve at, 220 miles an hour, you know, and so they know all the subtleties and the differences. Well, it's that way with guns in a lot of ways. You don't notice the difference, even just to look at them. You don't notice the differences that a more experienced shooter would. And that's some ways where some of the Glock hate comes from, or where the hate about certain models and, oh, there's another Glock, they're all the same, they keep recycling the same stuff, or it's just another Glock, does it? Yeah, well, yeah, sort of, but I mean, you can say that about Ford trucks or about anything. They kind of look alike, but when you get under the hood or you look at it more closely, you realize, okay, the grip's got a little bit different contour to it. It takes a different magazine, or it's got a mag well or it doesn't, the grip's different, barrel length's a little different, or just whatever it might be. And some, there's not a lot of difference, but and you can say same for M&Ps or any other firearm. They make a little tweak, make a little change in it, and like I think the M&P, they've improved the triggers, right? In recent years, they're a lot better, the 2.0s and different things like that. Somebody who, I don't know, they're brand new to firearms, you could throw out every M&P and every Glock and every Ruger, you name it, H&K, and they're not going to see the difference between those. To look at them and maybe even to pick them up and shoot them, I can't tell any difference. Well, of course you can't, you know, because they are similar in some ways, and it takes experience with it to appreciate the difference. It really does. What's another good analogy? Probably lots of them, right? Tires, you know, whatever you want to. So that's where a lot of that comes from, just not having the experience. And so in a way, it's a bit of an indictment upon themselves, you know, to say some of the things they say. They don't realize it, but they're really, there are a lot of comments. I mean, you could go through, many of you could do it too. You could go through like 1,000 comments you see on a gun video, any gun video, anybody's gun video, and you could probably pull out about 50 of those comments and write in the margin what that person's experience is probably shooting. Some of them you could just nail. You could just nail them, really. Just very little experience shooting. Very little experience or none with firearms. And then others, they're just learning, and others somewhere in the middle. And then you can obviously tell the people that have a lot of, well, not obvious, but people with a lot of experience are going to say something different, okay? So anyway, a lot of people, I don't want to insult people, but some people, they know so little yet. Nothing wrong with that. We're all ignorant at some point about everything, right? In different levels, but they're just broadcasting that lack of knowledge in a lot of ways. So, it's just the way it is, okay? Like if I started talking about nuclear physics or something, I would be broadcasting ignorance at a high level. Oh man, okay. So what else was I gonna? Oh yeah, John's schedule on December the 23rd. He will be at Zany's in Nashville. Starts at 7 o'clock. Okay, I think Dusty Slay has a show there, and John's going to have a segment on that. So that's December 23rd, 7 o'clock in Nashville, Zany's. So come and watch. I'll probably hit that myself. And what else did I had a little human interest story. This happens, every now and then in different ways. It's funny, but did I tell you all this? Did I? Y'all remember? I guess I got to tell you first before you know whether I told you. I don't think I mentioned this, but I had a former student, a girl. Well, then she was a girl, 7th grader, but she's a woman now. I think they have kids and everything. But they were watching. No, she shouldn't have sent me. Let's see. Her husband wrote me the message, and said that Sean, his name, said he was watching one of our videos on I think on his phone, and his wife came through, which was Anna, and said, "What is that? What are you watching?" Because she recognized my voice, because I was her pathetic English teacher, in middle school. But she, I mean, you never forget the voice, right? Oh, a nightmare. There it is. Yeah. So, and this was way back when I really was bad and boring. I'm sure even more boring. But she thought she recognized the voice and said, "What are you watching?" And then so she said, "That was my middle school English teacher," or something like that, And he didn't believe, thought she was making it up, Oh yeah, right. This is Hickok 45, and he probably didn't even know I was a teacher. I don't know at that time if he did, but so she ran and got an old annual and showed and proved and all that kind of thing. So that was pretty funny. And then she wrote me on his account too, and exchange there. And I had talked to her in 30 years, I don't know, almost. So interesting. It's always funny when people just come across that, and it does happen a lot. I guess it's more of a kind of a YouTube sort of social media phenomenon. I mean, we're kind of a phenomenon, but I mean, it's because of that this sort of weird stuff happens, because it happens pretty regularly. Somebody I know or a relative, or the people I deal with, whether it's a banker, the CPA, whoever it is, they don't necessarily know what I do. They know what I do, but they don't really know about it or anything. Well, I'll run into them again. Say, "My nephew, did you realize my nephew watches? He just loves your video." And then they're like all this shock. Wow. So, so what is it you do? So that kind of stuff happens all the time. I'm sure it happens to everybody doing, videos that has a very large following at all. So it's always funny when that does happen. I know one thing I want to talk about a little bit. Let's see. I should be wearing my mask out here, shouldn't I? I was starting to pull that up. It reminded me. Price gouging. I see comments about people, going into a gun store, and kind of load my gun while I'm talking about this. Price gouging and kind of reporting price gouging, or saving the world because they found somebody that's price gouging. And it could be some little shop, or it could be some big shop, or whatever. And I got some thoughts on that, and I may have expressed them online a few times. Let's talk about what y'all think about it for a second. What is price gouging? When is it not price gouging? Okay. Do I have anything left to shoot? Yeah. Wow, hit it hard. That's a sweet sound. This is a beautiful rifle, if you didn't know that. I had this, so we've done a 30-year anniversary Yeah, it's actually coming up on 35 before long. I bought it in 86, 1986, and it still looks like new. I take care of my firearms. I do. Okay? If you want more information on that, what's the video called? Firearms Storage, I think, where I talk about, don't even fire a shot, I don't think. I just talk about how to store my firearms, use the socks and different things. So actually I keep them in the bathtub underwater. That way the oxygen can't get to them and rust them. That was a joke. So you thought I forgot. Back to price gouging. Just some food for thought. I don't know, what is price gouging? You may have a different opinion. I've been in business couple of different times. We're in business now, but I've been in business a few times, and I've worked in businesses, publishing industry, and different things. And people who have never, and I'll tell you, there is a wide chasm between people who, John and I were talking about this the other day, people who have never been like in business at all, or have never been in management at all of any kind. Yeah. I've had the misfortune to have been in management, and I really didn't like it. I mean, when you're teaching, you're sort of in management, but I've been in business and management. Oh man, did I get a PhD in that for about a year or so. Way more than I should have had, responsibility to handle and people, and it was just a firestorm. But anyway, management's difficult. It's really difficult, even if it's a low level and you don't even have that, just a couple of people or whatever it is. It's difficult. People just don't appreciate how hard it is. That's why so many people do it so poorly, and they come off as idiots or something. And there's John calling. Let me pause a second, and I'll come right back to you. Okay. Okay, here I am back. Yeah, that was John calling, and we're hooking up to go somewhere later, and I want to make sure I didn't miss communicator of the call. So it seems like the last 3-4 weeks I've had a call, and but it's no problem. Let's break the camera. It's not that my life is busy, but it's not like, oh, I can't do a video. I have my phone handy to talk to people, because I don't know, it just doesn't happen, that's just really not the case. We turn our phones off when we're doing videos. We're not talking to people. I guess because this is so casual, and I always have my phone out to keep a little track of the time. And then I can't resist if it's somebody, oh yeah, that's right, I need to find out about something. I need to talk to him. So I want to make sure he doesn't get away. Anyway, yeah, you think I forgot what I was talking about, even though it's been just a couple of seconds for you, but it's been a few minutes for me. But I was talking about price gouging and management and how people have never had those experiences. Again, trying to cut people some slack for their opinions, just like I hope people cut me some slack for my stupid opinions, okay? Because I'm sure I give opinions that are based on some level of ignorance, right? Maybe a high level of ignorance, or low level of ignorance. What's a lot of ignorance? I guess that's a high level, right? But anyway, it's just a different, it's kind of like, there's so much that we don't understand if we haven't been through things. If you've not lost a parent, if you've not had children, there's just so much, you don't want to hear it, but really other people are on a different planet from you if you've not had those experiences. They're really on a different total frame of reference in a lot of ways, So there are just certain things, just like someone who's been at war and battle, in the military, they're kind of on a different planet in some ways. Not that they're aliens or weird necessarily, but there's things I could never relate, you could never relate to if you've never done that. Yeah, just can't. If you've never, been in management of any kind, if you've never had a business at all, if you've never paid taxes yet, so all these things, they serve to, I guess, enlighten us in a lot of ways, right? That's why I make so much fun of this stupid word woke, which is so dumb, It's more of a pop culture thing as far as I'm concerned. Half the people that think they are woke, they're about as enlightened as this table, we get right down to it. And that makes it kind of dangerous, because they think they're enlightened and they're not. But, okay, getting off the topic. But anyway, price gouging. I remember thinking once, being of the opinion when I was much younger, that and being upset, maybe it was in like early 70s when the gas prices started going up. How crazy that was, how stupid that was. whatever they paid for that gas, that's what they should be selling it at. You know, they've got a tank under there, and if they got it half full, and they paid, I don't know, 15 cents a gallon, and they're selling it for 23. Then they should sell all of that for 23 and not raise it until they get more in there. Maybe they have to pay more, et cetera, et cetera. But it's really not the way the world works. You got to charge for the replacement cost, really, in most cases. So that's why if because that's a commodity. They bought that gasoline. They're in business. They bought that tank of gasoline. So they bought it today, you know, whatever, $2 a gallon. So they're in the business of buying and selling things and making a profit on it. So if gas goes to $10 a gallon, you know, it's what's going to cost to replace what they're selling. They can't refill that tank for $10 a gallon. They're not going to make enough by selling it at $2.50 a gallon or whatever to fill that tank up again. You know, it's $10 a gallon now. Whatever. If I have a coin shop, I sell coins, collectibles, and bullion coins and whatever. I've got a bunch of bullion coins, ounce coins or ounces of silver, and I paid X amount for them, and you know, just whatever the spot price was, whatever the price was on that day or that month. Then I sell them. But I sell them based on the current spot price, whatever it is today or tomorrow, whatever. Just like with gas. You know, if there's some catastrophe in the Middle East or whatever that causes the gas price to go up, you know, then that's what it's going to cost me. That's the value of a gallon of gas now. Okay, there's some shortage for some reason, then that's the value of a gallon of gas today. Okay, it was not worth quite as much yesterday. It's worth more today. So whatever I have, that's what it's worth, and that's what it's going to cost me to buy more, and maybe a lot more in 2 days. I don't know. So you may disagree with that, but that's kind of the way it is, you know. It's like real estate. You buy some real estate, and the price, for whatever reason, goes way up. Suddenly, they discover oil on your property or whatever. They're going to put it in a big mall nearby. It makes your value, your property, go up. Well, and I go to give you an offer on your property. What you paid for it is pretty irrelevant to you, isn't it? It makes no difference what you pay for it. It's what the value is of your property. Because that mall's going in, the news came up about that your property value has doubled in the last couple of years. So what are you going to do? You're going to charge me what it was worth 2 years ago, or the current value? Hey, you just paid $200,000 for it. Now it's worth $500,000. You should sell it to me for $250,000. Yeah. Yeah, you just paid $200,000. Are you trying to rip me off? Are you gouging me? Same if I have a gold coin. I paid 15. Well, what's it selling for now? An ounce, about 2,000, almost 2,000 an ounce. Well, the price of gold goes up to $4,000 an ounce, and I've got some I paid $2,000 an ounce, and you want to buy some from me. Should I sell it to you for $2,000 an ounce? No, the current value is $4,000. It's irrelevant what I paid for. It's just like a car. You know, people at gun shops see this all the time. People in the gun business, you know, they have to deal with this daily. Oh my gosh! So I've been in shops where they do it. People do it. I don't know if I ever did it. I hope I didn't in my early days. They go to a shop and I wanted to trade this for that. How would you trade? You know, and then they don't like the sound of the deal at all. Well, I paid $300 for this gun. You know, and they want to allow me $275. You know, I paid $300 for this. You know, so, well, yeah, but it's used, and the best I can even get for it is $250, and I got to make a profit, so I'll allow you $200 for it or something. Yeah, I mean, so that happens daily in gun shops. People they don't even know what the value. They don't. Some do. They don't look on whatever gun broker, all the auctions and online and see what this gun is selling for. What is it selling for new? Okay, and it's irrelevant, totally irrelevant what you paid for it, isn't it? Or I paid for it. Makes this gun right here. If I chose to sell that, my approach would be to start looking around, seeing what they're selling for. Okay, it's a limited edition. It'd be on an auction or somewhere. And I would just see what they're going for, and it's okay. Yeah, they're going, and they are. I paid, what was it, $6 or something? I don't know what it was. And they, but that's irrelevant. What am I gonna do? Sell it to you for 8 because I paid 6, make $200. Well, not really. It's been 30 years, but with inflation, I wouldn't even break even. But it's irrelevant what I paid for it. I don't even need to look into that. It doesn't matter. What am I going to do? I'm going to look at my receipt, see what I paid for that, so I know what to sell it for. No, Ralph, that's as irrelevant as it can be. What is the current market value for one of these? Not what people say it is, not what people are asking. What are they selling for? What are people actually paying for these rifles, okay? And then it doesn't matter how much in love I am with it. On the other side of that, because they are worth, I don't know, $1,500 or something, or $2,000, I think. But if I just love this rifle, oh man, these things, oh, wow, I'd have to have $3,000 for this thing. Well, that's all well and good if I'd have to have $3,000. But who's going to pay that? Because that's not the market value either, I don't think. So anyway, all that isn't it. So the reason I bring it up is we see it a lot right now. Now it applies to the current ammo shortage, the firearms shortage, and all of that. But in a way, it applies it a little bit of a different way because it's not as cut and dried. Whereas if I've got some ammo, if say I've got 1,000 rounds of ammo that I own, I've bought it and I want to sell it again, it doesn't matter what I paid for it, it's what the market value is, right? But now we're talking about a storefront. It gets a little. There's a lot of gray area there, and I can argue it both ways to some extent. Kind of like the gas station, though. If a store had bought, I don't know, 50,000 rounds of 9mm, for example, a couple of years ago, they just bought way ahead and had a bunch of ammo and stocked up, and they immediately jacked up the price to what 3 or 4 times what it ought to be right now, or what the value is right now as I speak on Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know, I guess you could call that price gouging. They immediately start taking advantage of the value and they don't have that much money in it. Yeah, that'd be one side of the argument. But then again, any ammo they buy, they try to replace with, they're going to pay that same price. It's kind of like that gasoline that's under the ground. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Again, we're all selfish human beings, right? And we want to get upset if a gun shop is, selling ammo for more than $10 a box for 9mm. We just, this is a ripoff. It's a gouging, price gouging. They're selling 9mm for $20. I've been buying that stuff for not $10 for years. Well, what did they pay for it? How did they get it? What did they pay? And in some ways, it doesn't even matter what they paid for it. Again, it's what the current value is of something. So, I don't want to be limited on ammo that's available for me or anybody else. But then again, it's a business and it's the market value. Things sell for what they're worth. How's that for profound, right? Oh, there's another airplane. But just like you, I was thinking from my own perspective. I see my tractor sitting over there. It's irrelevant what I paid for it if I decide to sell it. It's what the market value is for that tractor today. Or my four-wheeler sitting here, or my gun, or whatever I might want to sell. If I have a gold, silver dollar, if I have a silver dollar, it's irrelevant what I paid for it. No need to even look it up, unless I just want to calculate my profit or something. It's what the market is today. And it's that way with ammo. And of course, where do you find out what the market is? The free market, okay, is like on an auction line. What people are paying for. And we can say they're overpaying, and that's why the price is up. There's a lot of that talk too. People encouraging others to quit paying so much for ammo or a firearm, and then they'll quit ripping us off, and there won't be all this price gouging. Maybe so, but it's a free market. So whatever the most people are paying, I guess that's kind of what the market is, and the market value of something currently could be different in a week. Lower or higher, that kind of thing. But that's kind of the way the world works. If you don't like capitalism, But again, there's two sides to it, though. So don't hear me wrong. I see both sides. I know when, especially the .22 ammunition was short. What was that, like 5 or 6 years ago? and they weren't getting as much. And people were going to Walmart and waiting for the store to open or find out when the deliveries were, and they were buying it, of course, at those discount prices, and regular Walmart low price, I guess, and then they were putting it on Gunbroker immediately somewhere and charging and trying to get tons of money for it. And we all were criticized. We were criticizing those people mostly because they were preventing the ammo from being available at any price, well, at any reasonable price, I guess. But then again, what are you going to do? You're going to tell people they can't put something on an online auction if they want to? You can limit the number of rounds someone can buy, and that's what a lot of stores have been. I'm normally against that sort of regulation, but it's the store's choice. And there's a store in Clarksville, a gun shop, that I've known through the years. They have done that whenever there's these shortages, and they almost always have some ammo, and so that's kind of nice, knowing that, oh man, I can't find any 40 or 45 anywhere. But I bet they've got a box or two of it. Even though they only let maybe 2 boxes go, you can't buy more than 1 box or 2. They probably have some, and for that reason. So that seems to work, pretty well. I think I like that better than, I don't know, just pricing it so high that no one's going to buy more than 2 boxes. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways to look at it. What do you think? It's so easy to take that, I don't know if it's a shallow approach, but it's just so easy to take the selfish approach and be upset for no matter what people are doing. Forget business, forget the real world, forget the real market value and how the world works. Forget all that. I want my box of 10 millimeter ammo for $9.95, and I'm going to cry if I don't get it. So I mean, that's an easy route to take. I'm just trying to take a more intellectual approach to it, and to think about it, and to get people to think about it, that whatever the stores you go to, if the ammo seems high, they're not automatically, I mean, you don't need to just automatically assume, oh, they're price gouging, they're ripping me off, they're just taking advantage of the situation and ripping me off. Now, there are some that do that, and we know their names, right? But it's not automatic just because you're having to pay more for something that like 3 times what it normally costs. It's just the way the world is, And gun shops are a little more free to be flexible with things like that. Now, let's go back to toilet paper. Whereas like Kroger, a big grocery chain, Walmart, Sam's, whatever it is, they sort of just, they don't get into that. Well, toilet paper is really hard to come by now, and we're having to pay this, or we're going to get this much, or we need to raise the price, control the flow of it through pricing it differently or something. They don't usually get into that. They're just either out of it or not. They just, okay, we got some today, we don't. We got a million other things to sell, so it's not as much an issue with huge businesses like that. But it could be the same thing if you're a small grocery and you get a few cases of toilet paper in back when the shortage was bad. Well, you got to decide whether to price it normally and it's all gone, within an hour after getting it out, or you'd like to have some there for your normal customers that come in, every week, and price a little higher, so maybe it won't just be gone all of a sudden, or you limit the number that people can buy, whatever you do. So anyway, there's no easy answer to it at all. And I'm not giving you any easy answers. I'm just kind of encouraging us all to think about it a little bit, that it's not always just price gouging. I remember after Sandy Hook, I remember seeing a video, I think who was it? Was it Nothing Fancy did it, or somebody? They're in a gun shop. It's when all the black rifles were gone, man. You couldn't find one for anything. But this guy had some in his gun shop. He had 4 or 5 he had bought, just in secondary market and different things. And I remember him talking about, this one is 3,000, this one, that's why, and they were like really high priced. But he had them. They were there for sale if somebody really, really wanted to buy one. And I think he had bought them on the secondary market, and he may have paid 26 or 28, and he was selling for 3 or 31. I don't know what it was. But so you've got, is the market value, And I remember watching that thing. Oh boy, people are going to lose it. They're going to lose it over this guy charging that much for that gun. You know, and again, maybe he had. I don't know that video. I don't remember it well enough. But say a gun shop does have a bunch of. They get in a shipment of whatever, some common AR-15, M&P Sport or something. Get 10 of them in by some miracle, like today even. You know, do you sell them for the old $400, $500 price? You know, I mean, the market value has just changed, and so it's a weird situation right now. And there are people that are using it, of course, to make extra money, but then a lot of people are just trying to survive. Then the other thing, I remember after Sandy Hook that came up in a lot of gun shops, I think even in this one I was talking about, that video, is you've got to fire it, let employees go if you don't have something to sell and make a profit, you know. So I don't know what I would do if I had a gun shop, a small gun shop or big gun shop or whatever. What if I don't have any ammo? I can't sell any ammo. My guns are almost gone. But some people come in the door and say, I got a case of 9, I'll sell you. And well, 9mm, how much you want for it? You know, he wants $800 for it or something. God, wow, it's like 3 prices or something. But you know, I got, if I'm going to be in business, I got to have product to sell. And so he buys it, and he figures out what it needs to cost per box to make some profit. And so then Joe, Bill, Mary, they go in there and see that he's got, oh man, cool, you got 9mm. How much is it? Well, it's $29 a box. You know, so, you know. And so then they go running out of the store and posting as quickly as they can about how Bill's Firearms is price gouging. Well, no, he's trying to stay in business. You know, have something in there for sale at whatever the market value is. He had to pay that. And same with guns, and not have to close the doors and lay off employees and all that. You got all the overhead to keep going. So it's not as simple as it looks, is it? I guess is my main point. But then again, there are people taking advantage of a situation, as they always do. Look at the looters. Wow. We don't get into that. So anyway, I better shut up. I've talked too long, and I haven't shot. I'm gonna shoot. Can I shoot Dad's gun again? It's really neat having a firearm that you like, and that has sentimental value and all that. I pointed that out about my Model 29 838s that I bought in 1974. It's cool to have, because some of us do have old junk firearms we bought when we were young, maybe, or someone gave us it. Okay, yeah, I've had that gun a long time, but it's a piece of junk. I don't really care that much about it. I keep it because it has sentimental value. And but the Model 29 is not that way. I picked it out and I love it and I still like it, and I've had it all those years. And this gun is kind of like that. It's a good shooter, and it was Dad's, and you know, I've told you the history. You know, I shot it a lot, and it's just neat to have a firearm this long. And I hear from a lot of y'all that way, and I always encourage you, or sometimes make sure if you have sentimental firearms like this, you have a good gun safe. You know, because you can replace, you know, a Glock 19, right? But well, you may have a Glock 19 that has sentimental value, but it's hard. You just can't replace the sentimental guns, you know, that belong to your uncle or your grandpa or somebody. Let's shoot this target again. I'm going to play with fire. I'm going to put a bullet right close to his nose. You probably be able to see it. Ooh, that was close. Now be careful. I want to shoot my grandson's new possum. He likes it, believe it or not. I fooled him for a few seconds. That's back to that story. I fooled him for just a little bit, you know. And even I have my limits. And then I showed him it wasn't real. For one thing, it squeaks. You squeeze the head. So I walked up, pet it, and I squeezed it. And he sort of realized, all right, Grandpa, another Grandpa joke, right? Wearing him out with Grandpa jokes. So anyway, I guess I'll shut up. Is anything else important I wanted to tell you? Yeah, right, like anything is important. Seemed like there was something. I don't know, I guess not. So anyway, appreciate the people that help us, and we really appreciate you all. And Again, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and we all, surely anybody that's able to watch this, you've got some kind of internet connection, so you're not living on the street probably. And so you surely have something to be thankful for. You know, like we all have probably a lot more than we think about very often, you know, to be thankful for. So especially if we get up out of bed and walk around and, you know, we're reasonably healthy and we know where our next meal is coming from, you know, that sort of thing. Because we're always quick to find things to complain about and gripe about, aren't we? You know, we really are. When I was in publishing, I was in hospitals a fair amount, and I've always said, if you ever get to feeling down, yeah, feeling like you have reason to be depressed and things are going terrible for you or whatever, go walk through a hospital. If you can even do that now, but I mean, just if you can walk through a hospital, a children's hospital, or any hospital, nursing home, whatever. If you can, you know, can't do that really these times, but helps put things in perspective. It very, very quickly, doesn't it? Puts things in perspective for you. How big your problems are or my problems are. How little they actually are, right? In most cases, not all cases. So I'll let you go, and I am trying to think about something I meant to tell you. But anyway, just if you've not seen the movie, go check it out. You want to see really how stupid I am, how bad an actor I am. And, you know, never, for one thing, we all need to be prepared for these zombie invasions because it's sort of happening already in some cities, and it could happen on large scale at some point. You know, just the zombieization of of Americans. It's already started the process, right? Wow, has it? It's at some level in some places. So things are never as bad as they seem. And you know what? They're never really as good either sometimes. What's the line? Yeah, it's something like that. That things are never as good as they seem, as bad as they seem. You know, it sounds like a negative way to look at things, but I guess it's kind of a neutral way, isn't it? You know, when you think things are really bad, they're usually not that bad. You think things are going great, maybe they're not going as great as you think they are, but then again, you want to be able to appreciate that, right, when things are going well. So I appreciate y'all coming by, and it's fun to come out and shoot a couple of firearms that, you know, like today, nothing new, but firearms that just are meaningful to me. And I know some of y'all have some. What's your most meaningful firearm? Those of you who have sentimental firearms and you're, you know, brave enough to talk about them on the internet, but you're anonymous. Yeah, let us know what your most sentimental, you know, firearms are. You know, maybe something that was handed down, or maybe just a firearm like this. This one wasn't given to me by a relative or anything. It's just I've had it a long time. It was something I wanted for a long time, or didn't want it. I wanted a big bore rifle, and I love octagonal barrels. It was kind of a first in a lot of ways for me, a big caliber, and it was my first like large caliber like this firearm. Lever gun with octagonal barrel and everything. Throw strike. I left my drink over there. So, and so you know, it just means a lot to me, but it doesn't carry the same sentimentality, of course, as the 22 and some other handguns or firearms. So I will talk to y'all later. And in the meantime, just think about 4570s and what a beautiful bullet and cartridge it is, okay? And how you badly want something in 4570 in your life, right? And your life will not be complete until you have accomplished that. Actually, that's kind of the way I felt. I think at some point I needed to have a 4570, and I think probably everybody does. I sound like a gun salesman, don't I? Yeah. People accuse me of that, and I guess I am in a way. It's ironic, isn't it? I mean, people tell me we sell a lot of guns, and but it's not that we're trying to sell guns. You know, I mean, there are people, you know, doing whatever, paid reviews and everything else, you know, around the internet, and, you know, trying to sell this, that gun or whatever gun. But we have none of that going on. It's just that we enjoy shooting so much and enjoy the firearms and have some nice firearms, and and want you to enjoy that same pleasure, whatever it is. If it's an old Revelation, you can get your hands on. And really, and that's a good point about this, I didn't mention, if you happen to see one of these, a high standard or a Revelation, whatever, at a gun show or somewhere in a gun shop, it's nothing to shy away from. If you like the looks and feel and the price of it, it's not a situation where you think, well, I got to have a Smith or a Colt necessarily. They're well made, and I don't have to tell you, they seem to last. 1960, a lot of shooting. It's 1960. Wow, that's almost 40 years, isn't it? Or is that 50 years? Or is that 60 years? It's a long time ago, and still works great. So anyway, I'll let you go, and I will talk to you later. And I appreciate you coming by, putting up with me. And it's a Sunday morning, right? And for some reason, I got in my head, or in the back of my brain, that happens in video, regular gun videos occasionally. There's something else I meant to tell them that was kind of important, at least to this video. And it causes me to be a little slower tuning out because I'm trying to think of it. It would be so much easier, wouldn't it, if we just did edited videos and could just think about things and redo it and redo this segment and redo that segment. But I wouldn't enjoy it as much. I really wouldn't. So it's nice to be able to do it this way, more relaxed fashion, even in a real video, not just a Sunday shoot around. So again, a lot of new people. So this is the Sunday shoot around. They're a little different. You get more talking, okay, more gabbing about well, it's not off topic really, it could just be any topic. Whereas in a gun video, I try to stay on the topic of the firearm for the most part, okay? So I appreciate y'all coming by and seeing Mr. Possum and enjoying a couple of nice firearms with me. So hope you have a good week and, get a firearm out, clean it, shoot it, do something like that. Do something useful with your life. Come on. Life is good.